Hey guys, look, we're gonna watch a video. I was told I like Old School RuneScape. This is by a YouTuber, Castle8, and he tends to pump out a few good little RuneScape videos. So shout out to Castle8. Yeah, look, I'm interested because I was told the same thing. Hey, let's have a little looky.
Old School RuneScape is the ugliest game I have ever seen. I don't know if
Yep,
that's a hot take, but I've never played
super hot take.
before and have no nostalgia for this game.
Shout out to the
My friends
polygons,
have
right?
told me for years to try and play. They said it's a perfect fit. I like to organize, I enjoy collecting, and it's laid back with no pressure. When it came down to it, I could not get past how old everything about this game seemed to be. The graphics, user interface, and sounds,
Yeah, but
it
that's
seems
what
unfinished.
makes
I have
it
always steered away and found excuses to
RuneScape.
play anything else.
I
What
feel
do
like
my
it's not even
friends
old though.
actually see
Like I
in
feel
this
like
game?
RuneScape's
If I'm gonna do this
intentionally
thing, I'm
making
going
it
to do
like
it
this.
right.
It's
So
not even
I
that it's
signed up
old.
as a full member. I don't know what that really means, but hopefully
Just a hot take to anyone's watching. You have to be a member to enjoy this. Like, don't just think, oh, I'll level up all my free levels before I consider going a member. Just become a member. Like, just do it.
it will be worth it. I haven't told any of those friends that I'm doing this, by the way. Well, I did tell one person. His only advice was to use RuneLite instead of the regular launcher. I downloaded it and logged in to begin this new adventure. As soon as I get started with my character, it's really obvious how old this game is. I don't have very many customization options at all. I wasn't expecting much anyway. Everything is so tiny that I'm having a hard time spotting much difference between some of the clothing options. I'm going to go with a bald look. At least I can see it. Hopefully, I'm going to be covered up with all kinds of cool looking gear, and none of this is important. We're off to learn how to actually play the game now. The survival guide teaches me how to catch shrimp, cut down a tree,
You
and make
don't
fire.
remember
The
yourself
greatest
like
swordsman alive,
12,
for some
13,
reason, guarding this pen
doing
of
this
rats
for the
in
first
introduction,
time.
teaches me how to
Absolutely
fight, and
unreal.
I successfully kill
Like,
my first
I
ever enemy
remember
in Old School
it
RuneScape.
being in
I also complete my first quest, learning the ropes,
Miniclip.
and then find
Like,
a
I played it in
suitably
Miniclip
cinematic
days.
location to
You
teleport
would log on
into
to
the
Miniclip.
actual game.
I think that's when they like soft launch RuneScape, and they were like, "Oh, we're getting traction. We can release it on a separate
arrived.
launcher."
Except there's no confetti, there's no trumpets, and no heraldry. Only welcome to Old School RuneScape. But you know what?
That's all you need.
Kind of like it. It's simple and understated. They did
Yep.
just need to teach me how to swing an axe at a tree, after all. My only complaint is that for some reason, the NPC dialog box isn't a separate pop-up window. I have to look all the way down into the corner of my screen and click on individual lines of text to interact. It's a small thing, but it's uncomfortable. The magic instructor told me to see Adventurer John for some ideas about what I should do. He tells
Pretty sure
me
you can
about
just change
the
that
adventure
in
paths
the
and offers beginner
how it looks.
quests.
Like I play on like the
Ernest
really old
Chicken.
school
I noticed
layout.
right away that the pop-up window tells me the year that it came out. This quest is older than the original Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire games. It's older than Lord of the Rings The Two Towers and Linkin Park's Meteora. This is a cool piece of info to include within the game, and it accentuates RuneScape's impressive longevity. I hope I can see it on every quest that I come
2021.
across. At this point, I didn't realize that the paths and the quests aren't actually connected. So I did what any fresh adventurer with shiny new weapons would do.
You just go over and go to kill a goblin.
I started stabbing goblins.
Yep. By the way, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I have not watched it.
This noise disoriented me.
I have no idea. Like what I'm seeing is what you're seeing.
I increased my skill and attack to level 2, my first ever upgrade. Now we're talking. After a few more minutes of combat, my first interesting drop, Goblin Mail. I have the option to equip it, but nothing is changing with my character.
I love watching back in this stuff. Like it really does show you a little bit of the nostalgia to what makes this game good. Like nothing else could replicate this starting position.
Okay, so this wasn't actually a useful item at all. I decide to move on from killing goblins and go pick up my rewards from John. And aha, my first membership benefit. I got 500 bonus coins to go with my new sword. But wow, I have no space in my inventory. There are some tools in there, and some food, my money, a bunch of the rune things, and some weapons. How am I supposed to pick up any of the sweet drops I come across in my travels? It feels very restricting, and I make a little bit of room by selling stuff to the shopkeep. I know it's traditional for MMOs to start off slow, but I still don't feel like I've really done anything yet. Progress has felt very, very slow. Clearly, my combat against the goblins isn't
He's
helping the
dramatizing
town
it, like,
since there's still a ton of them just
there's
outside
so much to do
Lumbridge.
when you start.
Instead, I'm going to head out to make a real difference and find out what's up with Ernest.
Dude,
I reach Veronica, and she tells
shout
me
out to
that Ernest
Ernest.
has been missing since he went into a spooky
Where's
house
Ernest, bro?
to ask for directions. And to her credit, she's right. I would have taken my chances just choosing a direction on the road instead of going into this place. But this objective feels basically random, and it got me wondering if there is an
All the little
overarching
rooms and the
story to
puzzles?
RuneScape. Am I supposed to be a hero in
Been a
the
hot
early
minute?
stages of becoming a legend? Maybe, like so many other fantasy stories have done before, I'm supposed to fulfill some sort of prophecy to save the world. Or could it be that I'm just here for the vibes and a good time? I'm
You're giving it
definitely
vibes.
not here for polygon count. Maneuvering through this mansion was rough, and moving in this game in general is awkward. I'm not used to feeling like I don't actually have much control over where and how fast I'm moving. Why does it feel like there's something wrong with my character when I click to move somewhere? Sometimes there's a delay before I start to move. Other times the pathing is weird and I end up taking strange routes. I'm sure I'll get the hang of it eventually, and will hopefully understand what's going on later.
It's
but
called
this is
integrated
jarring.
jank.
As much as I'm having a hard time getting around in the
Just
world,
like Assassin's
I'm having
Creed, it's
fun
just integrated.
exploring
You just
this
know
spot.
it's jank,
I
but
don't know
good.
what I'm looking for or how to find it, but that's the point of a mystery. There's even a vampire coffin in the basement. Professor Odenstein is on the top floor, and he gives me the completely unforeseen plot twist. Ernest got turned into a chicken. The professor gives me a list of items that he needs to fix his machine so that he can change Ernest back. I kept opening the wardrobes and chests
And you know what's
crates,
so
hoping
special?
to find
Like,
something cool.
the
I never
writing for
actually
these
did,
quests
but I
just
wasn't
had a
really
certain
expecting
quirk
to either,
about 'em.
since I'm on a beginner quest. Next to this skeleton is the rubber tube,
And then, like, when
but
their
it
face
actually
blew
takes me
up
a little
and
bit
just
of
go
time
like,
to work up the courage to just run in the room.
you just
and
know
grab
they're
it.
getting
I'm
frustrated,
intimidated
angry.
by the
But it
enemy
was just the
locked in there.
writing of Old
It's
School
in the
RuneScape that
20s,
I really
and
liked.
I just increased my attack to level 2. When I
You
finally
could
get
actually
brave
tell
enough
the
to go for it,
personalities of
he
everyone
started to try to eat me.
you were
The
talking
pressure
to.
gauge is in the water fountain, but there are somehow piranhas in there.
Yep.
And they kept biting me when I tried to loot it. First I tried to use the bucket, but no luck. And then I throw the poison in, but they bite me again. And the fishing net doesn't work either. So
Dude,
I decide
change
that the
that
solution
layout.
is
Look
to
how
level
spread
my
out all
fishing
that
high
is.
enough to use a fishing pole to get them out of there.
be
That
fair,
idea fell apart
he's never
too,
played it.
so I go back to see if I missed anything. Oh my god, fish food. And that's when I spot the fish food on the second floor. I'm braver this time, and when I risk it, the ghost doesn't even attack me. And you know, why is that? I haven't been able to figure out when and why some enemies will attack on their own and others won't. In almost every other game I've played, I can generally tell if something is going to be hostile towards me or not, but I haven't figured it out in RuneScape yet.
I think it's like the amount of time you're in an
I even
area.
got whacked by a random tree on the
Like, do
pathway
they just
in
think
here.
you're AFK
I
and they
run
just
back
don't
outside with the prize to throw
engage?
it in the fountain and distract the fish so I can get the gauge. And that doesn't
Yes,
work
sir.
either, but it does finally hit me. I have to use the poison on the fish food first and then
sir.
throw it in so that when they eat it, they will die. And that means another trip up into the house to get more food. My friends are going to think I'm so incredibly stupid. At long last, I have solved the riddle, got the parts for
Let's just say
Odenstein's
mate.
machine, and fixed Ernest. He gives me some coins as a reward
Why is he spamming
since
8?
I asked
What's
for
with
it,
the 8 on the
and I
keyboard?
also get quest points, which are not explained to me. On the way out, Veronica tells me that Ernest has run off again. I get the feeling I'm going to spend more time rescuing this guy in the future. I'm not sure if it
Yes,
is
you are.
extremely obvious to people in-game that I'm new, but this guy hailed me at the mansion. To be honest, I don't even know where he came from. He just popped into existence near me and then ran up to say hi. Actually, he kind of had to chase me. It was refreshing, and I hope it's a sign that the Old School RuneScape community is wholesome and welcoming.
They're
I
very
did
wholesome.
basically just run away from him though. I was too focused on figuring out my quest to stay in chat.
And like a lot of people are going to show you, like if you're a
it wasn't
main,
you, it was me.
which
After
is
all
someone,
the struggle to figure out how to save Ernest, I thought I'd move on to
it's,
something
different to an
that
Iron
sounded
Man.
more
Iron Man, you can't trade with people, essentially.
I'm not confident in my
Like if you're a
ability to
main, there's
solve
other people who want to
quests,
show
but
you
I
how
just
good the
spent a
game
bunch
is.
of time whacking goblins and feel like I'm
And if they want to show you, they want to give you everything. They're like, here, have all this stuff,
Except when I
but
get
just
to
try
their
not to
camp,
take it.
the generals there
because
are arguing about the best armor color. I should have figured.
It takes
At
away from the
least
fun
these
of the grind. Like
NPCs
the
give
whole
me a little
point of
bit
this
of
game is the
guidance.
long grind.
We're just going to get dye and combine it with goblin armor like we did with the fish food and the poison. They tell me that the armor dye comes from a witch
like when
in
I got
Draenor
99
Village.
fishing,
This is
I got a
much
tattoo.
more straightforward.
I was like,
snag a
damn.
goblin mail from the crate on my
I
way
need to
out and head
signify,
back to figure
like,
out how to make
how
dye.
good
I get a list of the things
getting
I'll need to
99
make colors
is.
from
Even in
Aggie
fishing,
and
that's
a
just
rough
mindless.
approximation of where to look. I have no idea what things look like in this game, so it takes me longer than I think makes sense to find onions. So far, RuneScape has been an exercise in futility. It's actually even worse because I keep slowing down when I'm walking. 1 minute I'm at a full sprint, and then I'm just so slow. It's painful and makes it punishing to roam around looking for objectives. Please tell me this won't be my existence forever in this game.
Yes, it will be.
Otherwise, I might take a long walk off the short pier in Lumbridge.
I'm not taking the bait.
Then I came across 2 unicorns.
I'm not taking the bait.
Mythical creatures like these don't seem like early zone enemies. I'm definitely not attacking them, and will definitely not drink their blood. I saw Harry Potter 1. While I was running around collecting the items for Aggie, I passed by these guys. And to be fair, I probably should have been able to tell that this was coming. I know I said earlier that I had a hard time figuring out when enemies were going to attack me and when they were not in Old School
got hit once or twice in the early phase.
But these guys are kind of obvious about it. Anyway, I survive them and get back to Aggie with some of the materials, but I'm low on health, so I actually steal her cheese. Naturally, the goblins weren't happy with the new color that I brought them, so I had to go find more ingredients to make a different dye.
I hated this quest.
I also had to slaughter goblins for another armor, and it took a long time.
So finicky,
long enough that I started to wonder if I had hallucinated having ever gotten the drop from these guys in the first place. I killed so many of these guys to try and take their clothes, which they are clearly wearing, by the way,
drop rate
that I was starting to feel like maybe this entire experiment was not going to be worth it at all. Until...
the dopamine rush.
Yes! Okay, maybe it was worth it.
It's
It's
always
always a great feeling to see a drop you really want and have been working for in games that have loot. I've also been picking up and burying the bones after each and every kill. It's giving me experience in prayer, but I don't know what that does. Should I be doing this? Is it worth it? Of course, the goblins don't like the second color
so,
either.
Like, fair enough. He's probably
I went back
never played it
to make another dye.
And like for us who's played it, you're like, are you kidding?
No color sense. Blue and yellow dye do
just
not
taking the
make
piss?
brown dye. They make green. So I wasted a bunch of time making another color when I should have just been farming the plain armor again. I had to psych myself up to go back to this grind. But this time, I got lucky. At the scene of my goblin massacre, there was a player who must have been inspired by my murder spree. This guy, with an entire cannon and a cheetah print looking cloak, was utterly exterminating the same group of goblins I had been diligently stabbing.
These guys.
He was literally standing on a pile of their bones like some sick psychopath.
Man.
Fortunately for me, there was a goblin nail on the ground.
It.
He didn't seem like he would miss it, so I picked it up and thanked him for his bizarre help.
No, don't thank him. Don't perpetuate the issue. No, he's not a hero. No.
I went back to finally turn in
you
the
will
plain
get
armor
triggered by him. You'll go to a mob spawn and they'll be there and you won't get any of your mobs and then you'll hate them. Guaranteed.
By this point, I'm frustrated with Old School RuneScape. Both of the quests I've done have involved a lot of running back and forth. Admittedly, some of which was self-inflicted. I decided to change it up a little bit and go back to leveling up some skills to get more exposure to the non-combat elements of the game. The Gatherer path wants me to level up my woodcutting, mining, and
I
fishing
don't know
skills.
this. I don't.
I got
I don't
started
think.
by just whacking the trees and lumberage.
I don't think this
Earlier,
was
I
introduced when I
complained
was
about
playing.
the dated sound of RuneScape, but standing here and chopping wood to collect logs, I think I've changed my mind. They're actually
Also, the reason I'm not
satisfying,
pausing and
almost
then starting
cozy.
it again is because I fucking hate when people do that. I'm like, just keep the video going, just quickly talk, brother. Hate that. Just extends
Once
it
my
out.
inventory was
Anyway,
full,
sorry.
I used the tinderbox to start building fires. It's a good thing the lumberage goblins don't seem to hold a grudge. I collected some more path rewards and then tidied up my inventory before I went out in search of some ore to level up mining.
Okay.
And then a gang of frogs showed up, and I rescued the princess, who gave me a token. This
Perfect.
felt incredibly random, and I have no idea what I could have possibly done to trigger this little event.
You get
but
that
I'll take the reward
random
anyway.
event for a
I took a
reason.
break from that and got started on my fishing. Fundamentally, as far as I can tell, this is the same as the other two skills. I just click on a spot and wait for the animation to gather materials. It's so simple and so basic, but something about it just feels good. I'm not suffering through a complex minigame. There's no dodging murderous enemies. It's just me and the tools of the trade and some actually nice sound effects.
Just the grind. Dude.
I could feel the irritation that had been building before from when I was trying the quest starting to melt away. And now my inventory is full of shrimp. It was about this time that I realized something about Old School RuneScape that I like a lot. Nothing in this game, at least so far,
20-minute
needs
video.
to go to
Jeez,
waste.
okay.
I left the shore and cut down a tree, which gave me woodcutting experience. I used the logs from that to build a fire and level up fire making. And then with all of the shrimp I had caught, I worked on my cooking. I repeated this loop for a while to keep gaining experience. I'm so early in the game, and it's probably very clear to you, but I have the feeling that good planning goes a long way here. I'll be able to maximize my gains and skills.
Oh, okay. So he is playing on like recently because sailing's in. Yeah.
By making sure that anything I collect gets put to use elsewhere. Organizing and tracking my collection seems to be really important to not wasting effort in RuneScape. So while I'm not playing blind and also not looking up every little detail, I can definitely see how extra information would be helpful here. With that newly discovered appreciation, I went to mine ore next to the fishing trainer. I made sure to make trips back into town so that I could smelt them together into bars. The player character gets really far into the forge.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
After a few more minutes, I finished the gathering paths. It doesn't mean much in what I assume is the massive scale of this game, but I definitely feel like I'm starting to get the hang of how things work here. And it feels like now I am starting to make progress. At some point earlier, I got a clue scroll. I could not remember where or when I found it, but it says in the name that it's for
why
beginners.
is this guy
in reality,
spamming
it's pretty cryptic and just wants me to talk to Charlie the Tramp and Varrock. When I get there, he has a flashing yellow arrow on his head, just like the tutorial NPCs. He needs a raw herring.
I'm trying to look at my keyboard and just like to see what he's...
how to fish up more than just shrimp to help him out. I click on the fishing skill and see that I'm going to need to be level 10 and have a rod to get his fish. So I go back to my shrimp and start repeating the experience loop I was doing before. Fish, chop, burn, cook. At this point, I had forgotten that I needed to use a pole and not the big net to catch the herring. I think I also confused myself by having mackerel stuck in my head instead. I spent some time searching the very cluttered and confusing map to find a fishing vendor. The only one I could find
even the first time going into the desert.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any way to get there without running through a mountain pass of very aggressive, very bitey wolves. They beat me up pretty badly, and for the first time since I logged into RuneScape, I felt like death was a real possibility. It got me wondering, what does it mean to die? Not like in an existential way, but what happens to my inventory? Where do I go? Do I just respawn when I get there? Is there some sort of penalty, like how you lose money when you black out in Pokemon games? Does my corpse just stay there on the ground? Can the players nearby see that some idiot tried to run past enemies that were way too strong for him, and he got destroyed? Anyway, I survived the excursion, and make it into the town that I was looking for. I won't get the answers to my questions this time. And it turns out that I was right. The fishing vendor sells me a big net. It wasn't until later that I realized this was totally unnecessary and not even the right equipment for what I was trying to do. But that wouldn't have solved my problem anyway. I can't find the fish that Charlie asked me for anywhere. All of the small net spots won't have what I need. The big net spots don't have herring. I can see lobster spawns, but those appear to be much higher level. Salmon is not herring. Where on earth do I find it? I spent a lot more time running around the towns and cities I'd already been to trying to find fish for Charlie. This makes the third quest out of 3 that I've had difficulty completing for one reason or another. Between the water fountain at the spooky mansion, the goblin mail drops, and now the herring, I won't lie to you,
Surely
I got close to quitting.
he
It shouldn't
Googled
be
it.
this confusing to teach a new player a game, even an MMO. These first few quests, or quest-like objectives, have been points of real friction for me. I admit that I have absolutely sabotaged myself to this point. I'm completely new, and I wanted to see how this game felt from that perspective, and I refused to close my knowledge gaps by looking up what I needed to be doing. But that has definitely left me feeling
Okay, well,
like
that
I
explains
wasted
it.
a lot of time in the early going. I'm not willing to give up on RuneScape yet. I signed up for a membership and committed to putting time in to figure this out. But I need to find a balance between playing as a new player and just finding every single answer on the internet. I don't want to play blind, and I don't want an on-rails experience either. What I'm trying to say is that I'm open to suggestions. Through the early stages of Old School RuneScape, I've had the most fun doing the simplest tasks. Mining ore, catching fish, and chopping down trees has been relaxing. But I'm beginning to wonder if quests and larger scale objectives ever actually become fun. It has been plain unenjoyable to walk around at extremely slow speeds with only short bursts of faster travel. The directions and instructions have been mostly vague, except for Aggie, who told me exactly what I needed to
I'll say
make
something in a minute.
dyes. Sorry I stole your cheese. You did not deserve that. My assumption is that almost everyone else has many years, probably even decades, of experience. That's intimidating as a new player, but I'm curious about when the bigger picture of RuneScape becomes more fun. I think it's safe to say I have more questions now than I did when I first downloaded the game. When does combat get more engaging? I can't just trade stab for stab against
The
goblins
8s and the
forever.
3s just
How
send
long
me.
before I can start moving faster to cut down on the time it takes to meander around the world and find the items that I need? What am I doing here? Are these quests going to lead me to a bigger grand adventure,
Dude,
or
too
is
many
the story
questions.
up to me?
Way
It
too many.
feels weird to say
You're
it,
going to
but
send yourself into
today I'm a
oblivion
new
with all these
player in Old
questions.
School RuneScape. I've been both frustrated and
Not as
excited
hard,
at times
but anyway.
while learning the ropes. The most promising sign is that so far, the players I've come across seem eager and excited.
I get what he's trying
be
to do
there
though. He's
and
trying to get
help.
community
It's a
engagement.
small
But anyway,
sample size, but I'm hopeful that this game's community is as wholesome as I feel it might be. I get the feeling there's something here. I'll see you next time.
yeah, look, really good video, Castle8. I think it's interesting because he's kind of come at it with a view to kind of say like, look, I'm a new player. I've never played this before, and I'm going to do it blind. So we're all saying like, WTF, what's this guy doing? He's purposely making the game hard for himself. But everyone watching this playing RuneScape is overtly biased. Like, we've put years into it. We understand the game. We learnt it when we were kids, and we kind of just, for some reason, just grinded our way through. We did random things along the way. We didn't kind of structure it. Like, I think even as kids, we always looked up how to do the quests and quest guides and stuff. And now there's Quest Helper plugin, and this guy will eventually use it because you just find that time is a limited commodity. So, yeah, look, I think it's super interesting with this. Oh, he's got another one too. Ooh, I just didn't even see that. He's got a number 2. I think it's super interesting take. I love it because I think more people need to play it. Like I think there's people on the other spectrum of World of Warcraft, and they would struggle coming into something like this. I feel like if you played RuneScape and you were to go to World of Warcraft, it's easier. But I think from the open world perspective of WoW, coming into RuneScape, be harder. So yeah, look guys, I'm going to be posting more of these. Keep an eye out. Any suggestions on who I should watch, just put it in the comments as well. Happy to even flick through a couple in a night as well. Yeah, no, fun. I love it. I love watching new stuff as well. Cool. Yeah, again, shout out to Castle8. Respect though. A lot of editing went into that, guys. That's not a little quick video. So yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.